You've defeated the Elite Four, you're the champion, the credits roll, but in Pokemon Emerald, becoming the champion was only the beginning. In most Pokemon games, there's a familiar path players take once their main journey ends. Collecting Pokemon found throughout the region, hunting rare legendaries, and battling powerful trainers who await the newly crowned champion. But in Pokemon Emerald, the post-game took these challenges to unprecedented heights, introducing high-stakes battles with restrictive rule sets, challenges that truly tested whether a player has earned the title of Pokemon Master. This ultimate test was the Battle Frontier, a brand new area in the Hoenn region dedicated entirely to brand new challenges for the player. Here, the boldest, brightest, and most skilled trainers from across the Pokemon world gathered to compete in relentless battles, vying for the recognition as an elite trainer while spectators placed bets on who would claim this coveted title. The Battle Frontier merely wasn't a small post-game area. It represented the final proving ground for every serious trainer. In this video, I'll be exploring the brilliance of the Battle Frontier, examining each facility, the Frontier brains who served as the ultimate challenge within them, and the overall significance of this beloved feature. I'll break down each facility in dedicated chapters due to the longer nature of this video. So let's dive in and discover what made the Battle Frontier truly special. Throughout your journey in Pokemon Emerald, a man known as Scott observes your various achievements with great interest, such as earning new gym badges, defeating the evil Team Magma and Team Aqua, besting major trainers throughout the region. Scott has a reason behind watching the player's actions. He's recruiting them for his Battle Frontier, an all-star facility featuring the best trainers in the Pokemon world. Once the player defeats the champion of the Hoenn region, Scott calls them, inviting them to the Battle Frontier, welcoming them as a freshly picked talent needed to challenge the greatest trainers from the Pokemon world. As the player enters the Battle Frontier, they're met with a sense of fanfare. The theme of the outside area consists of trumpets and tunes similar to that of sporting events. Banners fly high with the symbol of the Battle Frontier. Trainers stand scattered in anticipation of their next battles, while eager spectators rush to the various amenities to watch and bet on their next rising star. I will be honest, I love every aspect of the Battle Frontier's atmosphere. It feels professional with its paved paths, lush fauna, and immense size. While throwaway dialogue from NPCs is common in the Pokemon games, the NPCs in the outside area of the Battle Frontier truly introduce the player to the level of importance this place holds. And it's not just for the Hoenn region, but for the entire Pokemon world. The Battle Frontier feels like a major sporting event. Trainers and spectators have gathered from across the globe, some to battle and others to witness the rise of a next all-star trainer. The Battle Frontier even has buildings dedicated entirely to betting on battles, where spectators place wagers on who they believe will emerge victorious. The Battle Frontier feels like the proving ground for the greatest trainers, with Scott handpicking his personal talent like a scout would for a sports team, ensuring the Battle Frontier maintains its reputation as the ultimate test of skill. With that atmosphere established, let's dive into the actual battle facilities themselves. The first facility I want to talk about is the Battle Factory, my personal favorite facility and one of the more interesting concepts of the Battle Frontier. The Battle Factory asks the question, is a trainer truly great because of the team they raised on their journey, or because of the skills they have developed along the way? The Battle Factory is a facility based around contestants renting out Pokemon to see how they perform in battle, similar to an experiment examining how trainers battle with various Pokemon of different types, stats, and regions of origin. The industrial and laboratory approach at the Battle Factory matches the facility's aesthetic perfectly. The environment features sterile white and red coloring with metallic piping, advanced machinery lining the desk of the Battle Factory scientists, racks of Pokeballs containing Pokemon raised for the sole purpose of examining how trainers battle, and yellow windows that look as if the Battle Factory is from the far future. This alone serves as a solid introduction to the facility. It feels as if you walked right into a laboratory that is constantly at work interpreting and collecting data on how trainers battle and how Pokemon perform in combat. As the player registers for the Battle Factory, a scientist allows them to pick 3 Pokemon from a random assortment of 6 Pokemon, with the ability to preview their moves, abilities, and typing, alongside various items useful in the Frontier. These Pokemon have similar builds to those seen in other facilities of the Battle Frontier, down to their moves, natures, and abilities. Pokemon can range from Grovyle, Charmeleon, Flaffy, Celio, and more, with a list of all possible Pokemon appearing on screen, as well as in the provided link in the description. Here in the Battle Factory, there are 2 formats, Level 50 and Open Level. Level 50 has base and first evolution Pokemon, while Open Level allows access to fully evolved Pokemon, allowing players to choose what best fits their level of challenge and their constraints they wish to work with. Players are also briefed on their opponent's prominent typing and their style of battling. Once the player enters the Battle Factory, they compete against other opponents with rental Pokemon. Rows of scientists line up in nearby stands to monitor, observe, and document how the battle goes, with each Pokemon battle consisting of 3-on-3 battles similar to normal Pokemon battles found within the games. However, if the player defeats an opponent, they can swap out one of their Pokemon from their party with one of their defeated opponent's Pokemon, adding more strategy and adaptability if one of their initial or future party members may not be performing as well as they wanted. This is the reason why I love the Battle Factory. It's a constant test of how a trainer may adapt to their situation, using Pokemon brand new to them and swapping out their team if their current strategy may not be the best. This feature also allows for endless replayability due to the randomness of how the battles will take place, what team you'll get, and the options presented to you along the way, with stronger Pokemon becoming more available later on as you battle. This sense of unpredictability can make or break your runs in the Battle Factory. As someone in the sciences, it feels like an endless study, large in scope, with so much data being collected, crunched, and various variables thrown around in one massive experiment. At the head of this Battle Factory in the study of how Pokemon battles are is Nolan, the gruff and tough ace of the Battle Factory. When the player first encounters Nolan, he demands the player to face him in battle, telling them to rush over, and explains how knowledge isn't just from reading or studying, but from experience, engaging the player in battle immediately. Nolan's team will always consist of randomized Pokemon no matter what, with random teams from 3 different groups of Pokemon. Nolan picks from either Group 2 or Group 3, with Group 2 containing semi-powerful Pokemon, and Group 3 having pseudo-legendaries, legendaries, and other more powerful Pokemon. This to me adds to Nolan's statement. He truly wants to collect data in the field himself, opting for a randomized team in order to achieve that. His blunt, straightforward, and gruff personality makes him ideal for the Battle Factory, and his choice of Pokemon during your matchup against him. After Nolan is defeated, he will award the silver knowledge symbol for his first defeat, and the gold knowledge symbol for his second. The knowledge symbol itself represents the Battle Factory perfectly. In order to succeed in this facility, you need knowledge of the Pokemon items, typings, matchups, and how to work with a varying team composition. It reminds me of Pokemon Showdown's random team formats. There's something to me about showing your skills in a Pokemon battle by working with what you have, rather than preparing. It truly tests a player's skill at Pokemon and leads to a lot of fun in a competitive way. Speaking of Nolan's design, it appears as if he has a worker's hat, or a newspaper hat, a common hat of factory workers found in the early 1900s. This hat is complemented by a sleeveless lab coat, a black undershirt, work pants, red boots, and a belt to tie it all together. This entire outfit is a blend between an industrial factory worker and that of a scientist. Though I really don't see how good a sleeveless lab coat would be, but at least he's following OSHA guidelines by wearing his boots. This appearance embodies the Battle Factory alone, a highly industrialized facility centered around one large experiment. Overall, both Nolan, the theming of the facility, and its signature format have led to the Battle Factory being considered a fan favorite of the Battle Frontier facilities, and common amongst speedrunners and challenge runners for their randomization at play. But what if I told you there was a facility that, instead of feeling like a lab, was like a live wrestling event? That facility is the Battle Dome. Let's talk about it. The Battle Dome asks the question, what if the feel of a proper tournament was brought to Pokemon, where trainers rise through their brackets and hopefully reach one final showdown? The Battle Dome's aesthetic appears that of a large arena, similar to a wrestling or boxing event. A spacious lobby invites the players in, giving the feeling of a front entrance reserved for the next star talent ready to compete in this tournament. The Battle Dome focuses on 16 trainer tournaments, with trainers battling for a chance to progress through the bracket. Each victor faces the winner of the previous tiers in a bracket-style format similar to real-world tournaments. As the player enters the tournament with 3 Pokemon, they can only use 2 for each battle, testing the player's ability and tactics and how they deal with the opponent. Each entry into the tournament comes with a profile detailing their possible team options, their name, and the strategies they plan to use. What truly sets the Battle Dome apart is how it captures the energy of a live sporting event. The arena itself feels like a true championship venue, complete with a raised ring, where battles take place, and an announcer who dramatically introduces each matchup. The atmosphere is intense, bleachers filled with spectators erupt in cheers with each victory and close call. The announcer's voice booms across the arena, hyping up each clash, and the ring becomes a stage where only one trainer will emerge victorious. Each fight feels like a main event of a wrestling championship or boxing match, with the stakes rising as you advance through the bracket and face increasingly powerful opponents. Trainers feel like rising acts, ready to make a name for themselves in the arena. What sells me on the concept of the Battle Dome is that before every match, the player waits inside a dressing room before they compete, as if trainers are trying to put themselves together for this show, preparing and staging themselves to captivate the crowd. The Battle Dome isn't just battling, it's performing, competing, and proving yourself worthy of stardom in front of a roaring crowd. The main act of this championship is Dome Ace Tucker, a man who embodies this facility in every way. Tucker enters the ring jumping around the entire arena, captivating audiences with his entrance performance to drum up cheers and hype from the crowd. His dialogue and actions in this introduction line up with the exaggerated arrogance and flamboyance of a wrestler. Tucker's outfit reflects this perfectly. A purple leotard similar to that of older wrestlers, mixed with the ornate additions of his outfit seen in modern wrestlers. Tucker's crown on his head bears similarity to a wrestling championship belt, blending in this theme of the Battle Dome's wrestling aesthetic. Tucker then begins the battle for the silver tactic symbol with 2 of the following: Charizard, Salamence, or Swampert. To me, Tucker's first team embodies commonly popular Pokemon even at the time, with Swampert even being considered one of the best Pokemon for the Battle Frontier. The entire first team embodies the desire to drum up popularity and attention from the crowd. Like Tucker uses these Pokemon as part of his performance for the sake of captivating the audience. His second team to defeat for the gold tactic symbol maintains Swampert, but swaps Salamence and Charizard for Metagross and Latias, as if he's drumming up the crowd with powerful Pokemon to keep the audience captivated as well. His defeat leads to a switch up in Tucker's personality. He's excited for your victory, rewarding the player with the tactic symbol. This small detail to me is what made me truly enjoy Tucker as a Frontier Brain. This exchange drives home that Tucker's exaggerated ego seen during his introduction was all a performance, similar to that of a wrestler, with him truly in love with the concept of the Battle Dome as a proving ground for the next stars, comparing them to the heights that he has reached. It still maintains a bit of ego and confidence kept for a wrestler, but shows its over-exaggeration as necessary for a performance. I personally never liked Tucker as much before I thought about this with his character. I just thought he was just a cocky performer similar to a character like Blue in the Kanto games, but I can safely say I greatly enjoy his character now with this perspective. The tactic symbol of the Battle Dome embodies this perfectly. You know the battle style of your opponent, but you must consider which 2 of your 3 chosen Pokemon are best to counter them. The feeling that the Battle Dome provides is similar to how the Pokemon League worked in the anime, with a tournament-style format. Overall, while it never came back, it had a spiritual and much more interesting successor in the Pokemon World Tournament and Pokemon Black and White 2. Now, if only Tucker showed up, it would have been perfect in those games. But for every great upbeat performance, there's always something lingering in the shadows, a sense of unpredictability. For that, the Battle Pike is our next section. The Battle Pike asks the question, can a trainer truly trust their gut feeling when embarking into the unknown? This question is a fundamental concept behind the Battle Pike, a facility that tests truly the luck and intuition of trainers. The Battle Pike's signature concept relies on choosing between 3 different paths, with each choice leading to a vastly different outcome. Your Pokemon might be healed, restoring them from the challenges ahead. You might even encounter trainers in either single or double battles, testing your team's composition. You could stumble upon the wild Pokemon that disrupt your strategy, or Pokemon could hit you with a status ailment that cripples your progress. The team format remains the same, with 3 Pokemon being chosen for your team when challenging the Battle Pike. Similar to the Battle Factory, the sense of the randomness seen within this facility makes it an excellent for replayability. Every run feels different, every choice feels consequential, and the unpredictability keeps you on edge as you navigate deeper into the facility. The Battle Pike strikes players with its first appearance, a large Seviper-shaped building with players entering directly into its mouth. As the player enters the Battle Pike, ominous music plays through this red and gold ornate facility. The appearance of the Battle Pike mixes that of a game show with the aesthetics of a villainous lair. Red curtains drape the walls, pristine statues line the entrance and rooms, and the entire facility feels like a stage where luck determines your fate. The game show theme could be seen with how randomized the trainer path is in choosing one of the 3 rooms, with each door hiding a mystery behind it. I love the theme of this facility after Seviper, a truly sinister looking Pokemon. It fits perfectly for a facility where even the aids informing you of what lies ahead could be wrong, adding another layer of deception to an already unpredictable experience. The Battle Pike feels like a long dive into an unpredictable environment, letting luck decide whether you'll be ambushed by trainers, afflicted with status ailments, or granted mercy with healing. Battles feel like you're slowly crawling through the belly of a serpent until you reach the end of the facility, never knowing if the next room will be your salvation or downfall. The battles themselves consist of a fairly similar format, just with the unpleasant twist of the unknown lingering over every decision. It's this unpredictability that makes the Battle Pike truly amazing. Every step forward is a gamble, and that tension is what sets this facility apart. At the end of the belly of the beast is this facility's signature ace trainer, Pike Queen Lucy. Lucy's design bears similarity to a few different serpent Pokemon, with her gloves having a similar design to Arbok, though her main inspiration is Seviper. Her hair has red highlights, shaped and colored like Seviper's fangs, with a long tail-like strand of hair shaped like a serpent's tail. Her belt bears a similar design to Seviper's golden pattern, and her long dark pants really drive home that this is a trainer based on this sinister serpent Pokemon, alongside red eyes similar to that of Seviper as well. Lucy's design truly embodies her as the Queen of Serpents, with her dialogue and team matching her title. When encountering Lucy, she stays brief with her conversation, mentioning how she trampled flowers and braved storms to reach her status as the Pike Queen, showing ruthless determination in her battle skills. This small bit of dialogue shows her as a ruthless and deserving of a royal status. Combined with her various assistants in the facility, the Battle Pike feels like her own lair mixed with a game show to weed out trainers that would be a waste of time for her to battle. Her team for this silver luck symbol consists of her signature Sir Viper, Shuckle, and Milotic, a team perfectly fitting the Queen of the Serpent Pokemon, though I do think it's interesting that Shuckle is on our team, since Shuckle isn't a serpent, but based on an endolith, a group of various bacteria and fungi that grow inside of rocks due to a rock's environment providing enough nutrients for them to survive. Personally, I would have given her an Arbok instead of Shuckle on her team to drive home that serpent theme. For the gold luck symbol, her signature Sir Viper remains, but now has a Steelix and a Gyarados on her team. This team feels extremely fitting, with powerful serpent Pokemon that can be troublesome if the player does not prepare right. After her defeat, she asks for your Frontier Pass to reward you with the luck symbol, a fitting symbol for a facility centered around pure luck. Lucy says that she will not forget the trainer that defeated her. This truly feels like you defeated the villain in their own lair, which is a really interesting feeling. I do enjoy the theming and unpredictability of this facility. It makes it for such a fun run. It gives me the same feeling but more restricted than a dungeon crawler, with anticipation and uncertainty towards your next encounter. It makes for a great facility with factors outside of the battling being an option. But let's take a step back and approach a facility that became a staple in so many post games for its simple yet rewarding format. Let's talk about the Battle Tower. The Battle Tower asks the question, how does a trainer deal with endless waves of trainers that get stronger as they keep coming? This simple concept is why the Battle Tower has remained a staple for almost all Pokemon games going forward, either as a spiritual or direct successor. It can work in almost every setting. The Battle Frontier was not the first debut of the Battle Tower, however. It was an addition back in Pokemon Crystal, allowing players a place to battle when completing the post-game. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, instead of the Battle Frontier, only the Battle Tower was present, allowing players to battle against opponents similar to that of Pokemon Crystal. The Battle Frontier made a slight twist though, giving a final boss to the Battle Tower rather than just straight victories after a final trainer. The Battle Tower appears on the outside as a massive skyscraper similar to how it is pictured in previous games, with a lobby area similar to that of a reception desk. The player can enter a series of battles against trainers escalating in difficulty. Like previous facilities, trainers can only choose 3 Pokemon to take with them alongside the common restrictions of every facility. As the player battles trainers of increasing difficulty, the player is brought through long hallways into small battle arenas connected through the facility, feeling like cubicles in a skyscraper, just instead of turning in reports, it's Pokemon battles. To me, this is such a neat detail. It feels like there is a lot happening in this facility, with a feeling that each floor of the Battle Tower is housing many battles of elevating skill level. It's simple, yet a solid feeling. While not as interesting as the other facilities, I do love how the Battle Tower remained in Generation 3. It's a very good way to convince people to try out the Battle Frontier if they can't decide on a facility, and it's a safe and simple bet. And is why I think it has remained such a staple in the Pokemon franchise. When you reach enough victories, the true leader of the facility will appear. The Tower Tycoon, or Salon or Saloon Maiden in the English version, Annabelle. Annabelle's personality is mysterious and straightforward, with her presence mainly trying to determine the skill level of her opponent, though she does cast doubt on the player's ability. She will appear in the Battle Tower to see the potential of the player. I really do find this interesting. She is noted as a high-skilled trainer but is waiting for an opponent in the Battle Tower. It feels like the Battle Tower is her chance to find a suitable trainer to battle against. This notion that she is testing the trainer's skill is evident in her first team when competing for the silver ability symbol, sending out Entei, Alakazam, and Snorlax. This is a very powerful team that serves as a test to see the player's ability, and one to prepare for compared to the other silver symbol teams. It's evident that this team would break aspiring trainers that would blaze through the Battle Tower. Her second team is even more challenging, with Raikou, Latios, and Snorlax, as if this is a team that Annabelle uses when challenging a harder opponent she deems worthy of her full power. This direct and mysterious personality makes Annabelle seem like a Western cowboy, straight from American older movies. Annabelle dresses similar to that of a stereotypical cowboy loved in Japan, with a large ornate shirt paired with long pants, with a more gender-neutral haircut, which is a nod to how many women in the Wild West would try to hide their long hair, cut their hair, or wear male clothing to appear like a cowboy to experience freedom during the Wild West. Annabelle uses the Boku pronoun, common for young men, giving the feeling of symbolism of a girl wishing to become a cowboy. It's really a neat detail for a character like Annabelle and a fitting for the English title of Salon Maiden or Saloon Maiden. The Japanese name of Tower Tycoon still fits, with Japanese people's love of Americana often including the idea of the classic cowboy. With America's focus on business and industry, a skyscraper leader would be portrayed similar to that in the Pokemon games. This has been done numerous times in Pokemon, with Pokemon Rangers in Generation 5 having cowboy-like outfits and lassos, to even Clay appearing like an ornate cowboy or a stereotypical Texan. It's details like this that make me love the Battle Frontier and the character design of Ken Sugimori. Designs that look amazing on their own, just with very interesting details that make looking into the small details to them even more fun. When Annabelle is defeated, she awards the players the ability symbol, symbolizing the player's ability to endure endless waves of trainers and skills as a Pokemon trainer in battles of increasing intensity. It's fitting for a facility that has an extensive legacy in other Pokemon games for being the place that trainers can go to see if they truly are the very best. An interesting point is that Annabelle reappears in the Alola games and the post-game story involving the Ultra Beasts, with an updated design and involvement in the investigation of the Ultra Wormholes. A pretty neat addition for this character. While the Battle Tower embodies the standard Pokemon battles you see in the series, what about the exploration aspect of a trainer's journey? The Battle Pyramid fills this role. Let's talk about it. The Battle Pyramid's an interesting concept, where the question is asked, what if there was a facility that felt like the various caves you've explored, combined with the trainers in wild Pokemon? This facility on the outside is shaped like an ancient pyramid, with large boulders inviting the player into its dark depths. As the player enters the main lobby, torches light the shadowy entrance to the Battle Pyramid, with an explorer guiding the player into registering for the challenge. I just personally love this. It gives me the feeling of nervousness as you prepare to delve deeper into the depths of these ruins, with only one way to go once you're inside, to go deeper. It feels like the player is preparing for an expedition, and I adore that about this facility. As the player enters the Battle Pyramid, there are different floors that the player must traverse, where wild Pokemon will be present. Each floor has a set group of Pokemon that will appear, like Pokemon with a particular ability such as Levitate, Pokemon with particular moves, or the ability to cause status ailments like paralysis or self-destruct themes for each floor. There's even certain types of Pokemon encounters for certain types, such as Dark or Ghost. To add to the difficulty of each floor will start similar to how the player would enter a cave requiring the move Flash, where the room will remain dark with small visibility. However, if the player battles trainers on the floor, the player's field of view will increase similar to how Brawly's gym worked. Battling trainers on each floor will also provide hints of how to traverse to the next floor, how many trainers remain, or if there are any items left for the player to grab. To help the player with the added challenge of wild Pokemon, held items and healing items will be located on each floor to help the player in their quest to ascend to the depths of the Battle Pyramid. To me, this is such an amazing concept for a battle facility I wish would return. It adds multiple revolving factors that lead to increased difficulty, requiring careful planning and strategy on which floors you would like to explore and which ones you would like to ascend through as quickly as possible. It reminds me of the Mystery Dungeon games, with floors filled with hostile encounters, items to collect, and the goal to complete the dungeon. As the player ascends to the peak of the Battle Pyramid, the facility's ace trainer appears, Pyramid King Brandon, standing atop the blazing sunset peak of the Battle Pyramid. Brandon is my favorite Pokemon Frontier brain, a lively explorer who appreciates the love of discovery, detailing how his adventures were life-affirming, death-defying, dangerous, and passionate. He details how courage is what led a trainer through the unknown, fitting for a star explorer such as himself. It's an amazing characterization I love. It feels like an old explorer with many tales to tell of their exploits. How the Battle Frontier isn't their only focus in life. How the Battle Pyramid is a way to bring the passion of exploration out into those who embark into its depths. Brandon challenges the player for the silver badge with his team consisting of Regirock, Regice, and Registeel. To me and many, this is his definitive team that perfectly matches his love for exploration. The Regis are infamously difficult Pokemon to gather in the Generation 3 games. A character such as Brandon would explore the far corners of the Hoenn region to uncover the secrets behind this hidden trio. And to me, this is his definitive team as seen in various media such as the Pokemon anime and the Adventures manga. His second team is even more interesting, with him possessing a team of the Kanto legendary birds, Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos. Again, it's an amazing detail they chose 3 Pokemon that are found from exploring the depths of the Kanto region. With the remakes Fire Red and Leaf Green around this time as well, he most likely explored the Sevi Islands to find his Moltres. A neat detail that I love they kept is his desire to explore, and that's staying true with his team. After you defeat Brandon, he rewards the player with the Brave symbol and mentions how he enjoys the battle, and how truly amazing it was. Brandon's design bears similarity to an archaeologist or explorer, with a green heavy shirt with matching capris, thick socks and thick shoes to protect his body during his adventures, and a belt with storage to carry the necessary supplies he needs to embark into the unknown, similar to many explorers and archaeologists during their exploration of Egypt's various tombs and pyramids in the 1900s. The Brave symbol embodies this facility perfectly, with the player having the courage to dive deeper and deeper into the unknown and challenge the Pyramid King's legendary team. It's a great way for players to get a traditional RPG experience in a dungeon crawl. Overall, the Battle Pyramid is my second favorite facility, but contains my favorite Frontier brain in the entire franchise. I really do hope Game Freak finds a way to use him in some capacity similar to how Annabelle was used in later generations. The cool thing is that he was given a card in the Pokemon TCG and even a full art card as well, which I happily own. If exploring isn't your thing, and you wish for a little more structure, the Battle Arena is our next stop. The Battle Arena asks the question, what if in Pokemon battles, trainers were rewarded points based on how their Pokemon perform in the battle? The Battle Arena appears similar to a karate or other types of martial arts dojos at first appearance, with feudal Japanese architecture. As a player enters the lobby of the Battle Arena, they are greeted by a wooden dojo entrance with traditional floors and sliding doors that give the feeling of entering a place of discipline and combat mastery. The Battle Arena introduces a unique twist to traditional Pokemon battles. Instead of battles ending when all Pokemon faint, battles in the arena are limited to 3 turns. If neither Pokemon faints within those 3 turns, a panel of judges scores the battle based on 3 criteria: mind, skill, and body. Mind measures how aggressive the Pokemon was in battle, rewarding offensive moves over defensive or status moves. Skill elevates how effectively the trainer uses its moves, taking into account super effective hits and successful strategies. Body assesses the Pokemon's remaining HP compared to its opponent. The Pokemon with the highest total score across these 3 categories wins the round. This scoring system creates an interesting dynamic where simply stalling or playing defensively could cost you the match. You need to actively engage with your opponent, landing meaningful hits, and maintain your Pokemon's health, all within just 3 turns. It's a format that rewards aggressive, calculated play and punishes passive strategies. The time limit adds pressure to each decision, forcing trainers to think quickly about whenever to go. The turn limit adds pressure to each decision, forcing trainers to think quickly about whether to go for the knockout or play for points. Like other facilities, trainers enter with 3 Pokemon and face a series of opponents with escalating difficulty. The Battle Arena format remains consistent throughout, with each individual matchup being a best of 3 round system. This means even if you lose one Pokemon, you still have a chance to recover and advance. At the head of this facility is Arena Tycoon Greta, a young but fierce competitor who embodies the fighting spirit of the Battle Arena. Greta is notably seen using greetings like howdy, which could be a reference to Chuck Norris, the popular American martial artist who had global recognition in the sport. Both were young but popular martial artists. This connection goes deeper, with her having a longer yet similar style to Norris's haircut earlier in his career, combined with her fierce fighting prowess and a dojo of loyal followers. Her dialogue reflects her competitive nature, challenging the player to show their true strength and prove they're worthy of facing her. Greta carries herself with confidence of a seasoned martial artist, fitting perfectly with the dojo aesthetic of her facility. Greta's team for the silver gut symbol consists of Umbreon, Heracross, and Shedinja, a team that demonstrates both strategic depth and aggressive playstyle the arena demands. Umbreon provides bulk and status control, Heracross brings powerful offense, and Shedinja serves as a unique defensive wall that can completely shut down opponents lacking the right coverage. For the gold gut symbol, her team shifts to Umbreon, Breloom, and Shedinja, swapping Heracross for Breloom to add a grass-type coverage but still remaining 4 times weak to flying. After her defeat, she rewards the player of the gut symbol, embodying the fighting spirit and determination needed to succeed in the Battle Arena's unique format. Greta's design reflects her role perfectly. She wears athletic clothing reminiscent of martial artists, with a sporty appearance that emphasizes movement and agility. Her design is simple but effective, presenting her as someone ready for a combat at any moment. The gut symbol represents the determination and aggressive spirit required to succeed in this facility. The Battle Arena may not be as mechanically complex as some of the other facilities, but its unique scoring system and time pressure creates a distinct challenge that tests a different aspect of battling skill. It's a facility that rewards those who can think on their feet and aren't afraid to take risks. For a greater test of discipline, trainers can head over to the next facility, which tests not just discipline but patience as well. Next up is the Battle Palace. The Battle Palace asks the crazy question: what if in a Pokemon battle, there is no trainer involvement, leading to the Pokemon to decide how it will battle by themselves? Honestly, this makes the Battle Palace often the most disliked facility of the Battle Frontier for the mechanic of a trainer's Pokemon battling without any command, all based on selecting random moves that the Pokemon has to simulate a Pokemon fighting on its own, and sadly, when it does not want to fight. Which in concept sounds interesting, testing how a trainer would raise their Pokemon, but this leads to a very messy outcome in terms of battling. During battles, Pokemon, depending on their nature, can select certain moves in their move pool and use them in battle, leading to no control on how a Pokemon performs in the Battle Palace. While this isn't the best, the Battle Palace itself actually has a very interesting design. The player enters an ancient palace with red interiors and ornate gold detailing seen through the temple, alongside makeshift wild areas that allow Pokemon to inhabit the space. For a facility based around the concept of Pokemon battling without their trainers, it's a very nice touch that I do like. Monks inside the facility guide the player through the temple, giving the facility the feeling of an ancient monastery. When the player signs up for the Battle Palace, they have the same formats and general restrictions as the other facilities. A positive to this facility is also its battle arena, with a large pool of water surrounding the arena and sun gleaming down onto the battlefield. It's a really nice touch for a facility that is often disliked and disregarded by fans for good reason. As the player's Pokemon battle through the opponent's Pokemon, the facility's ace trainer, Palace Maven Spencer, appears. Spencer appears with 2 Pokemon at his side that he will not use in battle, often mentioning the trainer's bond with his Pokemon and how he has become one with his Pokemon down to thought and breathing. It truly makes the player understand the Battle Palace as a monastery to Spencer's teachings, and views on the relationship between humans and Pokemon. This extends further when you look at his design. Spencer appears similar to a monk, with a very similar robe and long white beard with tattoos and a staff bearing symbolism to Kyogre, making me question if he was part of the group on top of Mount Pyre protecting the blue orb. Spencer to me creates more questions than the game provides answers. Was Spencer possibly the previous guardian of the Cave of Origin in Sootopolis City due to his markings? Are Spencer's belief a religion in the Pokemon world? I do think if Pokemon keeps up with the format of the Legends games, we may see more information about him in a Hoenn Legends game, but for now, he remains a large mystery that Pokemon has not addressed yet in the implications of what the Battle Palace is surrounded by. Overall, I feel as if Pokemon tried to make an amazing concept for a battle facility, but due to the restrictions of the game, it truly could not work. I think that a better idea for a facility like this in Generation 3 would be using this concept but for something like a Pokemon contest, that feels less headache-inducing but still embodies the spirit of being one with your Pokemon. If this was a game like, say, Generation 9 with Scarlet and Violet, where you can control one of your Pokemon directly or involving them in the dodging mechanic seen in the trailer in Pokemon Legends ZA, I could see the concept behind the battle facility return. But this is the case of an idea great on paper but executed way too early for it to be adapted well. After you defeat Spencer, you are given the spirit symbol badge of the Battle Frontier for your victory, embodying the facility and your spirit becoming one with your Pokemon. But after that large and daunting challenge of the Battle Palace, there's some interesting things you could do to reward yourself. Let's talk about that much needed payoff you need. For the now crowned champion of the Battle Frontier, you may have noticed that you were awarded BP or battle points after every victory. These points can be used during and after your visit to acquire useful items such as the King's Rock to evolve Slowpoke into Slowking, the Choice Band, leftovers, alongside stat boosting vitamins such as protein and carbos, to even decorations for Generation 3's signature secret base mechanic. Though some items might be a bit crazy to acquire, such as the Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Lapras, and Snorlax plushies that require up to 300 BP each. So you may want to head over to your favorite facility to grind those points. The Battle Frontier has 2 secrets that make the Frontier a must-visit even if you're not too invested in battling. In the bottom right corner of the Battle Frontier, near the Battle Palace, stands a strange tree. If you played the Johto games, you'll recognize this as the Pokemon Sudowoodo. Similar to how it's done in Generation 2, if you water the tree, you can encounter Sudowoodo. This is a single encounter, so be prepared to catch it. After Sudowoodo is defeated or caught, the player can descend a waterfall to reach a small cave located under the Battle Frontier. This location is known as Artisan Cave, where Smeargle can be caught at a 100% encounter rate. What's interesting about these encounters is that Sudowoodo and Smeargle are Pokemon that fell into the issue of the GBA Pokemon era. Generation 2 Pokemon were not available. With no way to transfer Pokemon from Generation 2, this led to the Pokemon Company to place Sudowoodo and Smeargle at the Battle Frontier to help complete the national dex for trainers, which is amazing to someone like me who loves completing the national dex. Both Pokemon could be interesting for Battle Frontier use if you want to make a different team or a challenge run team. Overall, this section was just a small footnote I wanted to make since it's an interesting choice that Game Freak decided that this was the only place to house these 2 secret Pokemon. It also rewards exploration of the Battle Frontier for trainers not interested in battling. The Battle Frontier serves as Pokemon's first attempt at truly in-depth post-game battling areas, bringing an overhauled post-game to the Hoenn games in Generation 3. Players often revisit these games for the Battle Frontier alone, with streamers, speedrunners, and fans still trying to pry away at its mechanics in different facilities due to its replayability and depth. It's truly amazing to me how many people love the Pokemon Battle Frontier, especially the Emerald version. Now, we never got as expansive of facilities in future games. Battle Frontier served as the foundation for various successors in every generation afterwards. Generation 4 had a smaller but more refined Battle Frontier, complete with new Frontier Brains. A Battle Tower format appeared in almost every generation since, evolving on the concept by adding characters from the main story and past games to balance out the roster. Even places such as the Pokemon World Tournament took concepts seen in the Battle Frontier and expanded upon them. With Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire referencing the construction of the Battle Frontier, it truly reminds players of a time when Pokemon had an expansive post-game with challenges that truly test if you're an excellent Pokemon trainer. It's to me one of the best post-game features that Pokemon added. It allows for so much more in just such a small island, complete with new characters that have their own fans, facilities that challenge the trainer to this day and bring out the best strategies to employ, and overall a testament to what post-games should be. I thank you for watching this video. Seeing all the support everyone has shown for my previous videos has been amazing. If you are new here, please subscribe and stick around since I'll be having a ton more video essays and retrospectives coming. But for now, I am signing off.